Well, guys, I think it's time we had to talk about some things. Hey everybody, welcome back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Today on the channel, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Normally I bring you reviews of 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays, regular Blu-rays, physical media stuff. That's really what I do here on the channel. It's what I've been doing for a long time now. And if you guys have been longtime followers, I really appreciate you. If you're new to the channel and you're a big fan of physical media, movies in general, I implore you to follow me here. Give me a like if you like those kinds of things. Check out my other videos on the channel. Again, I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, or actually a little over 10 years now. And I really appreciate you guys being here. So today we're going to be talking about kind of the state of physical media as I see it at the moment. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, just really haven't had the opportunity to do it, and I really wanted to talk about it in a way where I can share what I've been experiencing, and hopefully you guys can join in the conversation in the comments. Let me know what you've experienced if you are a physical media collector like myself. And I just want to know your thoughts on what's going on in the world of physical media today. There definitely seems to be an audience out there for physical media, maybe now more than in recent memory. I think more and more people are starting to see how streaming is kind of a disaster, and how, the understanding of how streaming really does take away a lot of ownership of buying a movie or a TV show, or even music and things like that. I mean, I don't really review a lot of music here on the channel, but even buying music now has really become a collector's type of market. And that's something I'm going to kind of repeat a lot here in today's video. One of my favorite channels on YouTube is Dank Pods. The guy's just hilarious. I love his videos. I've been watching him for a long time now. And he recently talked about how he's done with streaming. He did a whole video about it very recently, and how he's going back and buying DVDs and Blu-rays and things like that. And I've seen other, people on this platform and on other, social media platforms saying the same thing, that, you're spending sometimes over $20, $30 a month on these different streaming platforms. And, you want to watch a movie, it's not there. And then so you got to go to another streaming platform and pay for a subscription there, and then you forget about it, and then it ends up being another $20 a month. It's a mess. It's a real mess. And I think that, the people that are realizing this now more than ever are the ones that are becoming kind of the big supporters of physical media. I love physical media mainly because of the fact that once you own a movie or a TV show, whatever it may be, you have it forever. As long as someone doesn't break into your house, steal the disc, or if you damage the disc yourself, that movie or TV show is not going anywhere. It is yours and yours alone. And I love being able to just take a movie off the shelf, put it in, watch it whenever and wherever I want. No internet required, no anything. You just put the movie in and you're done. And I think you guys that are fans of physical media understand that this is a huge thing, especially in today's day and age. Another thing I'm seeing is I think a lot more people are realizing that when you buy movies on through Apple or iTunes or on Amazon or wherever, you really don't own the film. And, you know, these platforms can pull the ownership of that movie, or even like Sony a while back had a big controversy about them pulling video games from people's libraries because something was happening with the rights of those video games. The same thing can happen with movies and TV shows. If there's an issue with the rights and who owns the rights of a movie or a TV show, your purchase can just be gone, just poofed like nothing. And you may not even get a refund from this. And that's a big issue. And I think a lot of people are seeing that now. And that's another big hot topic when it comes to this sort of thing. And so physical media, right now, as I'm seeing it, it's kind of experiencing a little bit of a resurgence. I love it. I love the fact that this is happening. Is it happening in a way that I hoped it would? No, it's definitely not. And a big issue it's actually the real main reason why I made this video, is because I'm seeing a big problem as of late. And when I say as of late, I mean within the last like 4 or 5 months or so, maybe even 6 months now, that there's a whole other issue besides lack of physical stores carrying, you know, these discs. The issue is the fact that once something is released, even if you've pre-ordered it on Amazon or Target or wherever, the chance of you getting that disc is extremely small. And I'm seeing it more and more now, especially on Amazon. And I hate to call out Amazon, but they really are one of the main perpetrators of this, is that once something is available for pre-order, and I've seen films, mainly movies that I've pre-ordered, but I'll explain to you another situation that I've had happen recently with a TV show. Movies that come up for pre-order can sometimes be launched 6 months or more in advance of that release. And once that release actually happens, all of a sudden you get a notification saying, oh, by the way, there's nothing in stock, or, you know, your delivery has been delayed. And sometimes it can be over a month or more after that release date in which you would receive that disc, you know, movie, TV show, whatever it may be. It's really disappointing. It's really sad, and it's only adding to the lack of availability and ease of purchase with a lot of things. In my area in particular, there are very few brick and mortar stores that sell a lot of physical media now. There are multiple Walmarts, there are multiple Targets. I have no shortage of stores in my area. The problem is that none of these stores, except for maybe 2 Walmarts, carry a good amount of physical media. And most of the time, their stock is either outdated or completely depleted. And what that tells me is, it tells me one of two things. One could be a good thing, one could be a bad thing. It either tells me that people are going to the stores day of release, like morning of, and buying them out, which, again, is not a bad thing unless you're scalping these discs, which is another issue that's happening now. But the other thing that's happening is that some of these stores are not even getting new releases. And I'm talking about major releases, not like these little indie releases from like small little places, or you know, these little special edition releases from like Arrow Video, stuff like. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking about major studio releases. They just don't get them. And the Targets in my area don't even carry movies anymore. Basically, none of them do. And there's 3 or 4 of them, and none of them have any sort of physical media anymore. The entire aisle is just gone. Movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever you want to call them. There's nothing there. They literally only carry a few CDs and a bunch of vinyl records, which is great if you're a vinyl collector. But if you're a movie guy like me, you are out of luck in those cases. And it really seems like a lot of Targets are doing this. They're kind of following Best Buy's horrible idea of just carrying vinyl instead of Blu-rays and things like that. It's sad for me to say that because Target was kind of like the number 2 place I would, used to go to get my movies and things. And since then, I don't really go there very much anymore. I don't even bother checking their app or anything because even their online stuff is heavily lacking right now. So really, I've had to seek out other means to get new releases because sadly, Amazon is they're just not living up to expectations. And I've also noticed now that Amazon no longer has any sort of notation that you are guaranteed a copy on release day. That is gone. The verbiage that would normally appear under like the price and like the shipping area where it would give you an idea of when it would be shipped, they used to have like a pre-order guarantee where you would get it on or, like maybe like a day or two after the release date. That is gone. They don't even bother doing that anymore. So what that tells me is that Amazon is no longer a place where you should pre-order a piece of physical media, especially a movie or a TV show. You should not ever use Amazon for that kind of thing. And it breaks my heart because they were kind of the number one go-to place where I would do this. And I feel bad because I've made videos in the past where I have actually suggested to my viewers to use Amazon for those kinds of things. And I kind of feel bad now because the chances of anybody that's pre-ordered movies in the past probably didn't get them and may still be waiting for certain things because when they restock, they don't restock very much. Recently, I did a video on Panic Room, and that was actually a great 4K disc. This was another one that had a pre-order on for a long time. And the moment the movie's release date came out, the moment we reached that date, the movie was gone. And later that week, on maybe for like 5 minutes, I think it literally lasted 5 minutes, there was a restock, and I happened to be just on my phone, and I saw it. I happened to be in the app looking for something, and I saw it, and I grabbed it, and I got it, like the next day or the day after, which was great. It was absolutely great. So I got very lucky with that. These are the kinds of things that are making physical media almost like a collector's game now, and I kind of hate it. It shouldn't be like a special thing to buy a movie on a disc. It should be normal. And I know a lot of people don't buy movies on disc anymore. Streaming is still the number one thing, as awful as it is. It's still number one in terms of entertainment consumption. It's easy. You click a button. You can watch the movie. You don't have to go to a store. You don't have to pay $20-something for a movie. I understand that. I get it. It's much easier. Is the quality as good? No. Is the availability as good? Maybe. In this case, it may actually be easier to just go on a streaming platform and find a movie than it is to buy one in certain cases, especially these new releases. It's way easier to just buy one on streaming, and I hate that. I hate the fact that you're better off just buying a movie through iTunes or something and owning it that way than it is to buy the disc. It used to be kind of an even keel, but it's not anymore. And that really, really hurts me. It kills me that we are going in that direction. Certain studios still care about physical media. Warner Brothers being a big one, Sony being a huge component of physical media. These guys really care. Disney, kind of, not really, which is really sad. And they own the rights to so many incredible films, since they own the entire 20th Century Fox library, or 20th Century Studios now, all of, obviously, Disney, Star Wars. I mean, we're talking about big, huge movies here, and TV shows. And again, their physical media releases are, sometimes pretty lacking. I mean, they're putting stuff out, but, it's once in a great while. It'll be very special. It almost kind of reminds me of the days of the Disney Vault from many years ago. But these are the kinds of things that are irking me right now. Like, I wanted to give you an example. I mentioned I pre-ordered the Twin Peaks From Z to A box set. I pre-ordered it months ago, and ironically enough, David Lynch ended up passing away, which was a huge loss. That man was one of the most talented and incredible directors that has ever lived. His films are some of my all-time favorites. He really did make some of the most incredible and thought-provoking films of all time. Twin Peaks being one of the most groundbreaking TV shows of all time. And so I really wanted to get that box set, because that box set came out many years ago. And what makes it special is it has the whole original series on Blu-ray, as well as the return, which was like the third season, so to speak, on Blu-ray. But it also has certain episodes and certain things in 4K on that disc. And I think it's like the pilot episode and one or two episodes from the return are on 4K in that set. And there's no other way to get those episodes. And I think it also includes like Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me and the missing pieces and all that. It includes a lot of stuff and a ton of bonus features. And so the fact that they were re-releasing that box set in a simple kind of packaging, not that wild packaging that it had from years ago, I was really excited about that. And it was very affordable. I think it was like $55 or something like that. It was a really good deal. But that came out like a month ago. I still have not received this order. It's in the ether somewhere. And again, I could understand the high demand for this item, especially with David Lynch passing away very close to its release date and all the fans that Twin Peaks has. But that's not the only time that's happened. There have been quite a few films that I've pre-ordered on Amazon that just don't come in, and they sometimes just won't come in for months at a time. And that's a problem. And that could also mean one of two things. Amazon is either not ordering enough, which again is kind of a good thing because the demand is more than the actual supply, which is not a bad thing. That means that, the physical media community is still going, which is amazing. Or it could mean that the actual maker of that disc, of movie or TV show, whatever it is, they're not making enough, which is not good, because that means that the studio that is putting out that disc, and again, these are not limited edition releases. We're talking about major studio releases like Twister. I had to hunt for Twister when that originally came out. I couldn't find it anywhere. It was hard to find, and that was last year, okay? So that kind of thing shows me that we either gotta, the studios either gotta step it up with the supply, or maybe physical media is making a bigger comeback than I originally thought. I just think it's really important that, again, it should be, physical media really should be more accessible to people. And I hope that somebody out there in the studio system or on Amazon or somebody somewhere sees this video, because all I can say is, for myself and this community included, please produce more stuff. If that's the case, again, I can't see how many purchases something was made. I don't have that kind of pull. I don't know how certain releases are doing financially. I don't know what the supply and demand is. I have no accessibility to that. I have nothing. I have nothing. But if it is a supply and demand issue, and the studios are not making enough of these, of these products, please make more. If this is happening on a regular basis, which it seems to be, produce more. We want these things. We want to spend our hard-earned money on physical media. Make it accessible to us. And if you're a retailer and you happen to see this video, which again, I doubt that's going to happen, but if I'm lucky enough and that does happen, physical media is still around. It's not dead. People want this stuff. Please, please carry these items in your store. Even if it's in a smaller capacity, don't count out physical media. It's not dead yet. Another issue that I'm seeing, and again, this is kind of feeding into this whole collector's market idea, which I absolutely hate, is some of the prices of these releases now, especially within the last couple months, have been absolutely absurd. Now, I know, obviously, like I mentioned a few times in this video, I'm probably starting to sound like a broken record, and I apologize for that. But physical media, obviously, it has its own following. It's not it's not streaming, it's not Netflix or anything like that. But people are still buying these things, obviously. And, the accessibility of 4K is obviously not the greatest thing in the world. You got to have a 4K TV, preferably one that has really good picture quality, like an OLED or maybe even a mini LED. Those TVs are amazing. But OLED is definitely the king still. You got to buy a 4K player, and even a halfway decent one is over $100, maybe $200. The real good ones are $500 to $1,000. This is, again, it's intense stuff. You got to have the space for this crap. I mean, it's not an easy thing. But I do it out of love because this is a passion of mine. This is a big passion of mine. So it's not easy to get into. I've noticed now that some of these releases are $40 and higher, especially the steel books. Those are kind of nuts. Some of them are more affordable than others, but some of these 4K releases are just mainline releases, and they're over $30. And we're not talking about a limited edition. They're over $30 for just a regular one disc, sometimes a 4K Blu-ray and a Blu-ray combo pack. Panic Room was, I think, over 40 bucks, at 30 something dollars when I bought it. Retail, I think, is like over 40, $50. It's a steel book, but it's got 3 discs in it and a digital copy. So again, you've got a wealth of special features. You got the movie on standard Blu-ray, you got the movie in 4K. It's a steel book. It's a special packaging type of thing. I get that. I can kind of understand that. But when I see regular mainline releases going for over $39, we got to cut that out. I think really 25 to 30 bucks is kind of the sweet spot. That's about the most I'm really willing to pay for like a regular edition of a new release. That would be it. That would be the most. Have I paid more than that in the past for certain things? Yeah, I have. I'm guilty of that. I don't want to see new movies coming out on 4K or Blu-ray. Blu-ray is always going to be a little bit cheaper. But even Blu-ray releases now I'm seeing for, $20 and above. So, we got to make them a little more available. We got to make them a lot more available. But we also got to make sure we're not pricing people out of this type of thing. Now, I know I said it's collecting, and it really is. You do make a collection like I have, here. But, it's hard. Criterion collections, again, they always have a wealth of special features. But even them, as much as I love Criterion discs, they always have almost always have an amazing transfer, and I love their stuff. You get what you pay for with Criterion. And with them, I can almost understand their price points of maybe like $35, $40 because of all the stuff that they have and the love and care that they put into their movies. But even then, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to pay that much for one movie. So I understand how it's not the most accessible field. My one issue with this is the fact that 4K Blu-ray has been around for almost 10 years now. And the price points of these discs are not getting any cheaper. They're getting more expensive. And that's kind of nuts to me. The players have not really gotten very much cheaper. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not the good ones haven't. You know, and these releases now are just crazy expensive. Like I said, $45 for Panic Room, that's a lot of money to ask for from somebody. I guess all I could ask is, you know, again, let's not make physical media a special thing. It shouldn't be special. It should just be a normal thing. And so I hope, again, if anybody's watching this that's the higher ups up there, please don't make physical media like this rare special thing that we have to chase after because it's so niche. And don't get me wrong, physical media really has become more of a niche thing, but it's not as niche as you think. So keep that in mind. Now I'm going to kind of transition from what I've been seeing into some advice for those that may be watching this that are fellow, you know, collectors or new people getting into physical media. Some advice I can give you. Please shop around. That's the biggest advice I can give you. Shop around. Don't always rely on Amazon for new releases. They may have the most stock of certain things. Pre-orders, I can't recommend you pre-order anything from them anymore until they rectify the issues they've been having. They really have been slipping up time and time again with that kind of thing. Unless you get lucky. It's almost like playing the lottery now. Like, you know, you hit Powerball, you see that thing show up on day one. It kind of feels like that sometimes. So unless you feel lucky, maybe don't pre-order through Amazon. You know, I think the major thing is look at other retailers. For certain things, for new releases, I've started to look at online Walmart, like Walmart's website. I mentioned their brick and mortar stores in my area earlier, that they really don't have much of anything. And if they do, it's very, very little, and it's usually gone by the time I get there. And that's really my thing because I work, you know, during the week. I work, you know, Monday through Friday in the morning till at night. So it's kind of hard for me to get out and go do that and make it to work on time, as most of you probably experience the same thing. I would say Amazon really needs to be relegated now to after a release has happened. You know, shop around. Shop around. You never know. You might get lucky with Amazon. Most likely, you probably won't. Best advice I can give you is to look at other websites other than these big name retailers. As we know, those big name retailers, with the exception of Walmart, have really shied away from having physical media in any way, shape, or form. So I've begun to use different websites for getting movies and TV shows and stuff. Groove.com is a big one. They almost always come through with pre-orders. Most of the time you get them early, which is incredible. And they carry basically all releases from Warner Brothers and Universal, because they're kind of the big two that own that website. So you're kind of getting them directly through the studios by buying them there. And they always have stuff in stock. So that's a real good one. And their prices are also really, really good. They have a lot of sales. They're great. And that's gruv.com. The other websites that I like to use, which are definitely more smaller more niche websites are Brother Belial. Again, I'm going to leave the names here below me so you can see them. Brother Belial, I use them for imports and special label releases. So stuff from like Vinegar Syndrome or Arrow Video, especially stuff from those labels that are coming from overseas, that are not released in America. They're a great place to get that stuff. And their shipping is super fast as well. I also use OrbitDVD.com and DiabolicDVD.com. More than anything, I implore you to please seek out your local video stores. They are still out there. The one that's closest to me is Viper Video in Tampa. That is my all-time favorite store. I love those guys there. They are incredible. They always have tons of stuff in stock. They take trade-ins. A lot of times I've actually gotten new releases with just older stuff that I've traded in. Blu-rays and DVDs I no longer need. I trade them in there and I put it towards new stuff. And it's a great way to kind of balance out the old collection here. And they give really good rates for their trade-ins. So they're awesome. If you live in that Tampa area, please go seek them out. They are #1 in my book. And, you know, of course, if you have stores like that near you, give them the business, man. And a lot of these stores will also be able to order stuff for you. And they most likely will get an order faster than you'll get something from any website. Depending on, you know, what their pull is there at the store. So, you know, make sure to support them. They're not many. There's very few left, but they're out there. And, you know, they're really the backbone. It's always wonderful to go to a store and look at the shelves and be able to pick out what you want. It's a nostalgic kind of joy. And the fact that that's not really gone yet is something that I absolutely love. So support your local video stores, big time. That's a big one. Other than that, I guess all I can really say is hang in there. If you're a fellow physical media collector, hang in there. The media is still around. We're still getting new releases. Arrow Video isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Neither is the Criterion Collection. Criterion's actually going to be putting out this most recent Best Picture winner very soon. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So these are big things. It's not dead. Physical media is not dead, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And the outcry that I'm seeing from people and their disgust in streaming and everything, I think physical media is here to stay, or at least it's going to stay around for a little while longer. It really just depends on the studios and these retailers if they're going to follow suit. Thank you so very much for coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. That's all I have for today. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments about physical media, the 2 words I've said about 1 billion times in this video. I'm sorry. Like I said, I do sound like a broken record sometimes on here, but I really appreciate you guys watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like this kind of discussion video, let me know as well. Give me a thumbs up if you like this. And subscribe if you're interested in seeing more discussions, and of course check out my other reviews and things that I usually do here on the channel. I wish you all the very best. Please stay safe, keep collecting, and take it easy.